Hello and welcome to our session today. We're going to be talking about a very important topic that affects every one of us, but most people don't like to talk about it. They just try to, skirt around it, okay, instead of addressing the real issues. And the topic I'm talking about is money. One of the reasons we have problems with money is the mindset that we have grown up with. We've heard stuff like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. But actually, money grows on trees. That's a story for another day. Now, money doesn't grow on trees. Okay, money is the root of all evil, and stuff like that. So those kind of things have conditioned our minds and created a negative relationship, a negative experience with money. So it's difficult to make that transition if we don't deal with those issues at the subconscious level. Okay, so it's important that we start with that. Okay, the mindset. Okay, so that whatever we are building on it will be a lasting structure. You don't want to build on a faulty foundation. No matter what you have invested or no matter the resources you have put into it, it's all going to be a waste at the end. And you don't want to keep pouring water into a leaking tank. Okay, you want to fix the leakages first before you start filling up your tank. So we're going to have a comprehensive session where we'll address every issue, and I mean every issue. Yes, of course, it's not like we're going to cover, a million and one things, but we're going to cover all the important issues, principles. I will share examples from my own experience, and I will show you practical ways that I am implementing these things. Okay, so that once you get it, you have everything you need to solve all your money problems forever. Okay, so let's start by taking our opening prayer, and we're going to be taking the Plenipotent Creed as our opening prayer. Okay, that's our opening prayer at the Plenipotent Company. Okay, so we call it the Plenipotent Creed. Okay, so let's pray. I am an ambassador of the kingdom of heaven on earth. The God kind of life is at work in me. By virtue of this supernatural advantage, I have overcome the limitations of my environment and risen to my full potential. The Almighty God has given me wisdom and power to build up vast assets that have continued to generate an abundance of wealth, bringing me to places of influence and affluence. My wealth and riches have continued to increase and multiply exceedingly, so much that accounting for them is like counting the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. I have found my place in God's eternal plan for humanity and realized His purpose for my life. I am now a blessing to everyone in my spheres of influence, for as He is, so am I in this world. Now let's go into the session. First of all, why am I doing this? A lot of people are weighed down by money problems, but because of the kind of society we live in, and I mean the kind of society we have built as human beings globally, everybody tries to pretend they are okay, and people try to look rich when they are actually not rich. They're actually struggling, but they try to look rich. They do a lot of things just to look rich, but you stand a greater chance of being rich if you don't care about looking rich. You understand? Now the point is, a lot of people are weighed down by money problems because of wrong mindsets, wrong behaviors, and then they think that having more money is going to solve the problem. No, having more money is not going to solve the problem. Okay, it is important to first address the fundamental issues, then we can now talk about having more money. I get requests from time to time, people wanting to, speak with me about issues like this, and I understand that, when you have a problem, how do you know that you have a problem? Okay, how do you know you have a problem? If you have a problem with anything at all, how do you know? Pain is the signal. That's why if someone has a medical problem, for example, or a health problem, there will be some form of pain, okay, which we can consider as the symptoms of that problem. Then the person goes to the hospital, does diagnosis, consults with a doctor, and is presented with a treatment regimen. I want you to pay attention to this because it's very important. It's the same set of principles that undergird every area of life. It is just the applications that are different. Now, we're going to apply principles from the medical field, okay, to our finances, okay, or principles from health, okay. We're going to apply those principles to how we manage and multiply money, okay. Now, the person has gone to the hospital, been diagnosed and consulted a doctor and has been presented with medication. Now, if the person wants to get well, the person should take that medication as prescribed. If you are asked, for example, to take medication, maybe two tablets 3 times a day for 3 days. If you take two tablets, 2 times a day for 4 days, you can say that yes, you have taken it for more days than you were asked to take it, but you did not follow the regimen. You cannot expect, it may not work the way it's supposed to. You understand? So the point is, one has to follow the treatment regimen. And here in Nigeria, when you study, when you want to become a medical doctor and you go to the university, the degree you get is in medicine and surgery. Now that means there are some things that medicine will take care of, but there are some other things that medicine cannot take care of. You have to combine medicine with surgery, or you have to do surgery. Now, if someone has persistent pain, for whatever reason, they want to diagnose what is causing this pain. Sometimes the pain can be taken care of by medicine. You just administer medicine, over time, and then the person is okay. And sometimes there has to be surgery, okay, to remove the root cause of the pain. But some people will say, no, they don't want surgery, just give me pain reliever, and then you continue taking pain reliever, for how long? Now, why not just do the surgery once and for all and be well? That is the same approach that people take to their finances. People have financial issues, they have money problems, but instead of dealing with those money problems once and for all, they take pain relievers, they take drugs, to relieve that pain. And now I'm speaking figuratively. So, for example, someone needs money, okay, to meet some basic needs, and then you are thinking, okay, I can get money from my friend, okay, I can get an urgent 2K or urgent 50K, or whatever it is, Now, sometimes those things are necessary and helpful sometimes, but it should not be a culture. It should not be something that happens all the time. It should be something that happens once in a blue moon. You understand? And that is what we're going to look at. One of the things we're going to look at in this session. Okay, so like I said, a lot of people are weighed down by money problems, and because of that, they cannot truly fulfill God's plan and purpose for their lives. That is the primary reason I'm having this masterclass, because I want to share my own experience and how it is going to help a lot of people, okay, that apply the things I am going to share. There was a time in my life when I was so busy that, in fact, I remember attending a friend's wedding, and I had to run out of the wedding. I couldn't even wait till the end, okay, because I was that busy, and then I would break down, my health would break down because I was too stressed. And when people see how I was working, then they'll say, you are working so hard, you must be making a lot of money. I'll look at them and shake my head. I must have said this a lot of times, for those of you that have been listening to me, because it's important to, this is a very important issue. I grew up, with poverty. Like, I experienced poverty full scale. You understand? So I hate poverty. I don't ever, and I've left that level by God's grace. I can never ever, experience poverty again. But I also don't want anybody else to experience it in whatever form. Now, a lot of people are actually experiencing poverty because, they are in debt. Now, they don't have. So even if you are looking good, okay, you have the best cars and all of that, but you are doing all of those things, in debt, like you don't own those things, you are actually borrowing to maintain your lifestyle, then you are as good as poor, but you are just looking rich, but you are actually poor if you are borrowing, to maintain your lifestyle. Now, I don't say this to be derogatory at all, it's just important to say things as they are, okay, so that we can assess our situation and then move from where we are to where we ought to be. I've been there, I've been there where, I had to borrow for everything and all of that. I couldn't even pay rent. I would always borrow rent, from the company, and I wouldn't have finished paying this year's rent before next year's rent would be due. So I understand these things. I'm not, in any way, trying to demean anybody or say anything derogatory, but I just want to present the situation and then also present the solution. Okay, it's just like when you are doing surgery, there is this Yoruba proverb, I don't know how to translate it to English, but the point is, if you are doing surgery, for example, the doctor has to open you up, or if you want to deliver a baby, I remember when, let me go to that, I was in the labor room the 2 times that, we had our sons, and I remember the experience. You are just, but then the doctor has to open up your wife, and then your wife too has to be ready to, you understand? I mean, you get what? So that's just it. It's once and for all, and once you do it, you are good. and you don't even remember the pain of the experience. It's just like Jesus Christ. He went through the shame, went through the suffering, so that he could resurrect. And once he resurrected, he had overcome all of the pain, all of the shame, all of the suffering, okay, forever. So that is the approach that we also should have. Now, God told the Israelites, he told Moses to tell Pharaoh in Egypt that let my people go that they may serve me. Let my people go that they may serve me. Now, the world system is designed in such a way that you will not have time to serve God. You will not have time to do the things that truly matter to you because you are so concerned about making money, because you have to keep working, and overworking, okay, just to make ends meet and all of that. That's the way the system is designed. So you have to hack the system and make it work for you if you want to live a fulfilling life. So you have to maintain your ground and not negotiate, just like Moses. Moses told Pharaoh, let my people go that they may serve me. That this is what God is saying. And Pharaoh started to negotiate. Okay, you can go, but you will leave your animals behind. Moses said, no, we're not leaving our animals behind. We don't know which animal God will request for sacrifice when we get there. So we have to take all the animals along. And they started to negotiate a lot of things, but Moses stood his ground. So in the same way, we also must stand our ground and make up our minds that we're going to be financially free. Okay, and financial freedom is different from financial security. Many people are going after financial security when what they should actually go for is financial freedom. That's why when you see, we do recruitment, and then a lot of people say, okay, well, when you ask for the expectations, some people actually mention financial security, job stability and all of that. See, those things are in the past. Nobody can promise you job stability. You have to create the financial freedom that you need for yourself. Okay, now, financial security is like you are in a gated place, and everything is there is tight security and all of that. But the kind of security you are asking for is also pushing out a lot of things that you could do. It's almost like being in a kind of prison, okay, but then you feel okay, you feel comfortable. So, but what you really should aim for is freedom, okay, not security in that sense. Now, if you get freedom, then you get security with it, but you can get security without getting freedom. I hope you understand that. And it still boils down, I said it's the same principles that undergird everything. Jesus Christ said, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things shall be added to you. So now, what many people are looking for is not what they should be looking for. But when we start looking for the right things, all of those other things will be added. Okay, so we're starting with that premise that the reason we want to make a lot of money, the reason we want to be financially free, the reason we want to solve all of our money problems forever is that we will be free to serve God. We'll be free to do the things that we believe God is calling us to do. If you're a business person, for example, and somebody wants you to work on a project, and it's not the kind of project that aligns with your values, or maybe you just have something more important at that point in time, maybe there's a conference you want to attend, or maybe just want to spend time with your family, but something more important to you at that point in time, you'll be able to say, oh, thank you for this offer, but okay, I'm not in a position to accept it now. But if you don't have that level of freedom, you will start to compromise, and then you say, I need this money, let me just take the job. I hope you get it. So that is the primary reason we're doing this. We want to have enough resources to fulfill God's plan and purpose for our lives, help other people, live a life that glorifies God and also gives us fulfillment. So it's important to start with the mindset. Like I said earlier, that is the foundation. We need to move from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Have it like there is more than enough for everyone. For example, someone is asking you for information, maybe about your business, maybe you are competitors, and the person see. Well, the details are different in each context, but the truth is that share information freely. Share it freely. You don't hoard. Don't feel that if this person has it, then okay, I am going to lose. No, share it freely. Help people. You understand? So that is one example of having that abundance mindset. Now I will give some very simple examples. Also, you want to take a bike, for example, and the bike man says, and fuel price has gone up. At the time of this session, fuel price has gone up. It has continued to go up, and it is quite. And then the bike says okay, 200 naira, and you see that no, it's 150, and you start haggling over it and all of that, and that is actually worth the 200 naira, and you can actually afford it. Pay the 200 naira. You don't need to haggle over it. Now, these things may be controversial, but that is the way I live my life, and it has been helpful to me, because the Bible says that the liberal soul shall be made fat. So you need to expand your soul. You need to be liberal. Do to others as you want them to do to you. You want people to pay you money. Be happy to pay people money. Now there are times that okay, I want to take a bike, for example, and I know that this destination, this journey is in 200 naira, and the bike man says no, 300 naira. Of course, I know like this one is okay. I'll pay you 200 naira, and then we agree on the 200 naira. Then when we get to the destination, I give him the 300 naira that he asked for. Now 100 naira is not going to, you understand, and but then it is given, and then when you look at the percentage, just like the woman that gave one mite or two mites in the Bible, and Jesus said that she gave the greatest, it's because it's the percentage. She gave all that she had. Now if somebody is asking for 200 naira and I give the person, or we've agreed for 200 naira and I give the person 300 naira, that 100 naira extra, that's 50%. I'm giving, you understand now. But what you are doing is you are reconditioning your mind. You are conditioning your mind for abundance. And one illustration I give, usually, okay, with my wife, when we're discussing about, when we're discussing money, I tell us that for me, money is going to be like water. Now, if someone comes to our house, for example, I say, "Oh, I'm thirsty," I don't even need to know the person. The person might even be a stranger. "Oh, I'm thirsty," and all of that. Okay, I would, please give me water. I will give the person water without thinking about it twice. Now, if water spills on the floor, we're not going to cry about it. "Oh, sorry," like you may feel bad about it for a while, but you won't cry about it. The water will evaporate, go back into the atmosphere, fall back as rain. Like, it's not lost. That water is actually not lost. So I see money, that way also. Now, that does not mean that you are throwing money everywhere. You are giving everybody that. There is wisdom on how to deal with this, and we're going to get there. Okay, as you listen to all of this, you will receive understanding, you receive insight. It's just important to establish, these fundamentals, okay, before we go on. Another example, artisans, also when artisans work with you, and you just want to get the cheapest price, they also, the money they are getting from you, the money they are also going to use to, fund their lives and all of that. Okay, so we needed to fix, something, a plumbing issue, in the toilets and all, and then the plumber had already collected money for the material he was going to buy, so he came to fix it. And I'm telling you, like in less than 3 minutes, it wasn't anything difficult. In less than 3 minutes, it was done. So he didn't even know how to charge, how to ask for, but I am a business person myself, so the way I think is different. Okay. Now, and then he said, "Okay, just give me anything." I said, "No, name your price." And they said, "Just anything." And then I said, "Name your price, whatever." And then he said, "Okay, give me 3,000." Because he had thought that, okay, I was going to say, 3,000 for what? Okay, we'll pay 1,500, we'll pay 2,000. I said, "Yes, you called 3,000 because you thought that I was going to, argue and then, reduce the price. But no, I'm going to give you the 2,000 you asked for." And I did that. Now, because I could afford it and I appreciated, okay, he's a professional in his own right. That is his work, and I could afford it. Now, if you can afford it, if you cannot afford it, now let it be clear. "Sorry, I cannot afford it at this time." Don't make it look like, there have been times like that I had it, but don't make it look like the person is asking too much. No, I say, "Sorry, I can't afford this. I know that what you are asking for is worth it, but I cannot afford it at this time. I don't have it, at this time. You understand, at this point in time. So can I, would you please let me pay this amount?" Do you understand? So it's not like, why are you charging those that much? Do you understand? So these are some practical ways to shift, from that scarcity mindset, okay, to the abundance mindset. Now, because this is important, and I said mindset is the foundation, so it's important to address it. Now, there have been situations where I have projects, like projects that are my personal projects, and I will say that, okay, I think I've outgrown this. Okay, let me look for, new things. Let me look for, and then I just say, okay, and that's why the Bible says that he that is faithful in little is also faithful in much. But many people don't understand that. I looked for, someone that has been working with me for a while, has been faithful, and I said, "Well, do you want to see? You take this, it becomes your project." And then many times you're surprised, like, this thing is so big. Why would you have him take it? And then me, it's not like I already know exactly what is next to many times, but once I give that, then I am free, okay, to now think, to pray, to receive new ideas and move on to a higher level. So there are some things that you are just taking everything. Give, liberal soul shall be made fat. Look for other people that they are where you used to be, so maybe 2-3 years ago. Then give those opportunities to them. You look for bigger opportunities. I'm just saying that in every situation, always look for how you can demonstrate an abundance mindset, instead of a scarcity mindset. I remember when my journey on this part started, I don't remember the exact thing that happened, but my boss told me, they said, "Philip, you have a scarcity mindset." I said, like, it pained me. That's what I was saying when I said something at the beginning. I didn't say it to demean anybody or anything. Like, it pained me, but my boss didn't say it to demean me or to make me feel bad or anything. He said it was direct feedback. I said, me scarcity mindset, so I started working on it, and now I can tell you by the grace of God I have an abundance mindset. Of course, you can always increase, even in that abundance, but now I have an abundance mindset. I don't have a scarcity mindset anymore. So it's important to first make that transition. Now the next thing, we need to have a stewardship mindset. I'm going to share some practical things. I will show you stuff, how I'm doing these things, okay, how I'm making money. I will show you, okay, but it's important to get the mindset and the foundation right. So that's why we're talking about these fundamental principles. Now we've talked about the fact that, okay, we have to be free to serve God, to fulfill our purpose, to help people. So that's why we want to make lots of money, okay, and we want to be financially free, okay, so that we can do everything that God lays in our heart to do without looking up to anybody and without fearing any consequences and all of that, like, if I don't do this, do you understand now? So that's one. Then we've talked about the importance of having the right mindset, and a very key part of that is having an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset, knowing that there's more than enough to go around, there's more than enough for everyone. And then the third one is what I've called the stewardship principle. We should understand that we are stewards of God's resources. Everything that we have, our lives, our time, energy, attention, money, relationships, decisions, everything, is owned by God. God owns everything, and we need to live. Many of us profess those things, we say those things, but we don't live like it. We need to live like it. Now, even when you have all the money, like you have the money and you want to buy something, you have to consult with God, before you buy it. It's not just because you have the money, you have. Do you understand? Or because you have time, you feel that you can go somewhere, you can do something. You have to, what is God telling you? I'm serious. Like, this will change your life forever if you adopt that kind of mindset. Okay, for example, we don't have a TV in our house. Now, I'm giving these things like practical. Now, we don't have a TV because we feel that, okay, we don't need a TV. Like, what's the TV for? It's just going to waste time, waste energy, waste attention, and all of that. And we don't need it. That's the honest truth. So you don't spend money on what you don't need. But at some point, we're thinking that, let's get a TV. Okay, we do trainings and all of that. Because sometimes, okay, and even maybe just to project confessions and some other helpful things in the house, for the children. And so we're ready to get a TV. But after we read about it, we don't need a TV. So we did not buy it, even though we could conveniently afford it. Do you understand? So I'm just saying that now people can, you don't have it. Yes. So do you understand? So you are not living your life for others. You are living your life, for God. Okay, and then in such a way that allows you to fulfill everything that God has placed in your heart, to give you fulfillment, to give you. Now, there's nothing you want to watch on TV that we cannot watch on the internet if you want to, and you understand. And that one, you watch it on demand. You watch what you want to watch per time, not what they are serving you. So it's even, you have more freedom and all of that. And a lot of people that even have TVs is just there, just to decorate the house, just to show that yes, we can afford it. Now, I'm not saying there is anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. If you like it, if it works for you, maybe you are someone that watches football a lot. For example, I don't watch football, now, but then everybody cannot be like me, and I'm not saying everybody should be, and I'm not saying my way is the only way, but I'm just sharing these things so that you can now pick the principles, okay, and then apply them, in your own way. Now, why am I saying this? Now, I'm saying it because a lot of us focus so much on money, but we don't focus on the other currencies of life. But it is how we use the other currencies of life that determines our experience with money. Now, think about that. It's profound. Just pause and ponder on it. Now, we focus so much on money. Money is a form of currency. We have naira, we have dollar, all of them are currencies. But there are other currencies of life that are more important than money. And what we do with those other currencies of life determines how much money we can have, we can control, and we can keep over time. Some of those other currencies of life are your time. That's why they say time is money. But the truth is that time is more valuable than money. But everything you do with money, you also do with time. You spend money, you spend time. You can save money, you can save time. You can invest money, you can invest time. The laws that govern money are the same as the laws that govern time. But time is much more valuable than money. Time is a higher, currency. Your energy is a currency. Your attention is a currency. So you need to be careful the kind of things you spend your time on, your energy on, your attention on. You don't, for example, there was a time in my life that, okay, I used to meet people a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay, and I needed to do it at that point. Okay, can we set up a meeting and then we discuss? And it's good. We learn from each other, we encourage each other and all of that. But now, only very few people, like very, very few people. Anybody that wants to meet with me now, you go to our booking page, digitalvanya.uk/booking, you book a meeting, and then you pay for it, except those that are, members of our apprenticeship program in the company, and those that are mentees, yes, mentees that have been assigned to me, those ones, they have that privilege. But everybody else, you book your meeting, you pay. And I'm going to tell you why. You will see these things as we go along. So you have to be careful how you use all of those other currencies. Now, again, what I said about TV, if a friend was chatting with me recently, we were chatting and he was telling me about a development. I said that you must have heard it in the news. I said I did not hear it, and it's true. I did not hear it because I don't listen to the news. I don't need it. Now, many people think they need. You don't need news. News is being. It is. They have an agenda they are setting. Of course, there are a few people that you need it, maybe for the kind of work that you do, or because of some kind of decisions. But then watch what for example, there are people that need to watch the stock market. Okay, how is it going and all of that. Then you know exactly what you need from the news. Watch that, but don't just watch general news. You are wasting your time. You are wasting your energy. You are wasting your attention on something that is not productive. Now, these things are contrarian. That's why it's contrarian wisdom. It's not everybody that will accept it. Jesus said some things and the people left him. They said, what is this one saying? No, we can't take this. And even when he told his disciples some things, they said, who can accept these things? These things are hard things. And it is hard things that make us grow. Go and look at all these successful people. They have disciplines in their lives. And then, of course, you can now get to a point where, yes, you can now afford it, you have everything, it's okay. But if you are still struggling, and a lot of people are struggling, they are just making it look like they are not. That's what I found. Over time, a lot of people are really struggling. But the people that look like they don't know what they are doing, they are the ones that most of the time they're actually okay, like very okay, but they downplay everything, and then everybody looks at them and they start pitying them. But they don't know that. I remember my pastor once talked about his landlord, that, and he talks about his landlord, a lot. Like, we learned a lot of things from him and all of that. He said the man is like, if there is any other word after it, the man is very rich. But he drives a bus all around, or drives a bus all over the place. So they say, when you see me drive a bus, you will not think that. Do you understand? Now, those that are truly rich, and okay, most of the time they are understated. But if you are trying to look rich, it's a problem. So the point I'm making is that, okay, I've made some several points, but the point we're on right now is that you should be careful of the things that you spend the most important currencies of life on: your time, your energy, your attention. If those things are not delivering commensurate value to you, and it shouldn't even be commensurate value, it should be disproportionately higher value, because you have to be sowing and reaping. When you plant something, you don't reap what you planted, you reap much more. So if the time, energy, and attention you are putting into a project is not delivering much more returns for you, practically, that you can see, forget it. It's not being productive. You have to sit down and think, okay, how do I restructure this? Now, let me give you a very good example. I used to have sessions, 6:30 a.m. every Tuesday with members of our apprenticeship program, and I saw that they didn't take it seriously. Some of them would not even say they will not be around. And me, I would have woken up even before I spent days, preparing for it. Sometimes an entire day, planning the speech, planning everything, putting the resources together, and then I come and then maybe one person shows up, two people show up, and then they would not even say they will not attend. And I'm like, okay, then you don't need this thing, you don't value, you don't need it. So it's not productive. It may make me feel good that yes, but no, it's not about feeling good. I say, so I'm stopping. I stopped it, and then I started the Contrarian Wisdom podcast. This one I publish it. Those that need it will watch it. Those that don't need it may not be. It's up to them, and then eventually it is all these things are assets. Some of these things are going to those are some those of you that have read my obituary. If you have not read it, you can go to philipandela.org/obits. Now, that's the story for another day if you have not heard me talk about it before. Now, but if you read the obituary, philipandela.org/obits, you see that I talked about how I wrote like more than 80 books and all of that. Some of these things that I'm doing now are the things that will be converted, you understand, to those books. So whether you listen, whether you don't listen, whether you attend the session, whether you don't attend the session, I am capturing value from what I am doing. I value what I'm doing. I understand the value of my time, my energy, my attention that I'm pouring into this and into everything else I'm doing. And I've structured it in such a way that it doesn't matter how you respond to it. Whether you respond or you don't respond, I will still get value. You understand? So that is the way you should do everything that you do. Now, people that don't value your work, people that don't appreciate what you are doing, or even a project that you have, your own project that is not delivering value for you, stop it. Or look for a way to restructure it in a way that will, give value to you. For example, I used to publish blog posts, on my blog a lot, like regularly. I will still get back to it when the time is right, but I used to publish blog posts regularly on my blog and all. And if I see this thing is not really delivering value, practically speaking, it's not delivering as much value as it should be. So what could I do now? These same skills that I'm using to, write blog posts for myself, publish blog posts for myself, I can use the same skills to serve people that are more successful than I am and that need this service. but they cannot afford, they don't have the time. Okay, I have the time that I'm putting into my own project is not delivering commensurate returns for me, and it's not delivering disproportionately higher returns for me. So but I can put the same time and energy into the project of someone that is already more successful than I am, and then I can make a lot of money from that. And I tell you, by the grace of God, I learn not. There are projects now that I will just spend 3 days, and in 3 days I make multiple 7 figures. That's why I'm not under pressure. I may not make money for 4 good months. There are times that I don't make, personally, as a person, I may not make money for like 4 months, but I'm not bothered, because do you understand? I know that I can do one project and then I make like income for an entire year in one project that I did for 3 days. Do you understand? So these things, but if you don't stop those things that are sucking your time, your energy, your attention, you will not even have the freedom, you understand, to think and to receive the insight that God wants to give you. Now, the game changer for me, there are several stages. I'm going to tell you about some of them, but one of the biggest game changers for me in this matter of money and all of that was when I went on a retreat for 60 days. Like 60 days. Now, can you take 60 days of work? So if you cannot, why? So what are the things that you need to do to be in that kind of position where you can? So I took 60 days off. I was not listening to anybody. I was not answering anybody's calls. I was not, except my wife. And yes, it was only my wife. Yes, my wife and my assistant. 60 days, just 2 people. Now, and I did, and then God started giving me ideas. Okay, I read a lot of books. I thought through everything. I started putting systems and structures in place. I started organizing my business, making it more structured, putting structures and all of that. And then since then I have been doing it every year. Now I don't always do 60 days, but I do a minimum of 40 days every year, and that is annual. Now every week also I have hours that I set aside every week. I have days that I set aside every week. I'm not always consistent at this point. I'm not always consistent with those days, but I always make sure at least most of the time there's one day I'm not picking anybody's calls. I'm not doing it. I'm just thinking, meditating, getting ideas, implementing those ideas, doing a lot of deep work. Then every day there are hours that I set aside, to think, to do productive work. So you need to differentiate between busy work and productive work. A lot of people are doing busy work, like the state I was when I told you that people say, you are doing a lot of work, you are so busy, you must make a lot of money. And I said, I wish, so that's because I was doing busy work, but I thought it was productive, and I kept at it. No. So if you are doing something for yourself or for anybody else and it's not delivering disproportionately huge returns, if you plant a grain of maize under normal circumstances and all, that one grain of maize can give you 600 grains. That's the kind of returns you should be looking for. 100-fold increase minimum. So if you are putting your energy, your time, your attention to something and it's not giving you a 100-fold increase, or at least, the Bible talks about the sower that went to sow seeds, and then some fell onto rocky ground, 4 different kinds of soils. But the soil that produced brought forth 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. That means the minimum is 30-fold, 30 times. 30-fold is not 30%. It is 30 times 100. That's 3,000%. Do you understand? That's what it means. Sorry, that's yes, 3,000%. That means 3,000. 30 folds means times 30. You understand? Whatever energy, whatever time, whatever attention you are putting into something, is it delivering it to you? For example, now if I spend 1 hour doing something, now that thing, can it potentially make me income that will give me 30 free hours? That because I'm making this level of income, if I want to take 30 hours, maybe an entire day and 6 hours doing nothing, or maybe just relaxing, or maybe not doing nothing in that sense, but doing nothing in the sense of active work, letting my subconscious bring ideas to the surface, will it make me able to afford it? Do you understand? So for example, now if I spend 1 hour, I'm working on an online course, or I'm working on a book project. Now, eventually, that thing is going to deliver, much more value to me in return. But if I spend 1 hour, just watching the news and all of that, okay, what value practically is it going to give me? Or if I, just spend, hours on social media, sharing stuff that I wrote that I like, the people you think they like, they don't even like it. They may like it in terms of clicking like, but they don't like it. They are not reading it. And then you see a lot of likes, you see a lot of views, and you're like, wow, but are you making money? Are you making real impact? Are you making real influence, practically speaking? Do you understand? Go and check my Twitter, go and check my Instagram, check my Facebook. I have not posted one thing for more than 1 year, maybe up to 2 years now, and I will remain like that until I get to the point where I can get somebody that will manage it. You understand? So now I'm not going to try to, do you understand? I'm not going to try to make it look like, okay, I'm big on social media, I'm this and that, when I'm actually, struggling, in the sense that, okay, if I cannot afford a full-time social media manager or somebody to do it for me, then that means I am struggling in that respect. okay, and that means that I'm not yet qualified, okay, to show up on social media the way I want to show up. So let me relax and focus on the more important things, and then get to the point where I become qualified to show up the way I want to show up, and then I can conveniently afford it, and then I go for it. Do you understand? It's the same thing, it applies to everything else. Maybe you want a car, and then you are not yet qualified to have a car, or not qualified to have the kind of car that you want to have. Relax. It does not remove anything from you. Do you understand? So the point is, you are not living your life to please anybody. You are living your life in such a way that you can eventually achieve the kind of freedom, okay, that you are looking for. And it's not as difficult as it seems. It's just about choosing what you want most over what you want now. What do you want most? Do you want financial freedom, or do you want to look good? Do you want people to respect you, quote and unquote? But the truth is, that kind of respect is not even respect. It's not. Now, the way you really gain respect, okay, is by people know what you stand for. They want to have meetings with you. Say, I really want to have this meeting because you want to, but you can't afford it. You don't have the time. Sorry, I don't have the time and all of that. But if you can book, okay, this is the booking page. Go and book. This is the amount, and then or they don't even need to, they go there, they see the amount, okay. Then they now decide whether, okay, the insight they want to get from you, whether it is worth paying for, or whether the problem they want to solve, okay, whether it's worth paying for. Because the point is that you cannot be using your own resources, okay, to fund somebody else's project. Now, your time, your energy, your attention, they are your resources. So if you are using your resources to fund somebody else's project, then you should get a return on investment. It's an investment you are making. You should get a return on investment. For example, a digital entrepreneurship empowerment program used to be completely free, and people will take it, thank you, and all of that, and then no single contribution to the company, nothing, and then they go for the vast majority. Now, it's okay, you are doing it for God. There is a dimension of that, but God also now begins to give you wisdom to capture value in return. So one of the things we've done now is everybody will pay. You either pay or you apply for a scholarship, and if you apply for a scholarship, then you have to now take up a role in the company. There is a job you are doing for the company, and then you get the scholarship based on that. So it's not just that you're just free. No, you understand? So you do a lot of things for free, yes, but you also need to have other ways that will capture real value in return. You are not just making it look as if you are capturing value, but you are actually capturing value. So I was saying that it's important that we adopt the stewardship principle. So as a steward, you know that you have to give return on investment. Okay, like the parable of the talents, the master gave them talents and he was expecting returns, and one guy was just complaining, you think you can sow where you have not reaped? You think you can reap where you have not sown, another, and he was saying all sort of rubbish and nonsense, and that's the way many people are. They think that somebody wants to cheat them. Nobody is trying to cheat you. Work, be productive, produce. They've given you resources, produce with those resources. And then in the same way, when you are also giving resources to others, demand that they produce. Don't just give it for free and then, okay, nothing. If you are giving it for free, there should be other ways that they are getting value from it and you are also getting value, practically. So as a steward, you are not just, doing things anyhow, just, spreading all over the place. You expect a return on investment, and you also receive orders from headquarters. You receive orders from God. You receive instructions from God on how to deploy, your resources. That's why Jesus Christ said, lay up your treasures in heaven, not, here on earth. Lay up your treasures in heaven where moth and rust does not corrupt. Now, what you are doing when you do that, when you adopt this stewardship mindset and you invest in the areas that God has you to invest in the people and the projects that God sends you to invest in, you work with people that are more successful than you, and you use your skills, your knowledge, your experience to help them while you are also growing and also capturing value and also making money, and all of that. What you are doing is you are laying treasures in heaven. Now, it's like putting money in your bank account. Now, if I put money in my GT bank account, for example, I'm not advertising for GTB. If I put money in my GTB account, for example, I can withdraw it from First Bank. I can withdraw from Access Bank. As long as I have my ATM card, I can withdraw from anywhere. Do you understand? So in the same way, when you lay up your treasures in heaven, then when you now need money, okay, you can withdraw that money. So laying up your treasures in heaven is not a religious thing. It's a spiritual principle. And okay, it's about, having that mindset of a steward, okay, and then using your resources for the things that God, has ordained you to use those resources for, even when it makes you look bad, even when it makes you look like you don't know what you are doing. But at the end of the day, it will be clear to everyone that the foolishness of God, okay, is wiser than the wisdom of men. So it's important that we live lives in such a way that people will see our good works and glorify our Father in heaven. But if you don't have money, if you are always having money problems, money issues, that is not going to happen. So it's important to address this, and solve the problem once and for all. So you need to consider yourself as a steward, and you are a prisoner. Think like a prisoner of Christ. Paul says, I'm a prisoner of Christ. Now, if you're a prisoner, you can't just go anywhere, you can't just do things anyhow. And then the truth is that all of us are prisoners in one way or the other. Now, but the ones that are doing well are the ones that choose their own prison. If you don't choose your own prison, the world will create prisons for you and limit you. But you have to choose your own prisons. For example, now, part of the imprisonment that I've given myself, see, I am not speaking for anyone, for the next, until we're having this session in 2024 until until my son is 3, and it's going to be 3 by so but I've made that decision, like for 3 years. I'm not speaking for anybody except there are only two people, or 2 people and 2 organizations. Yes, there are 2 organizations apart from plenipotent company, only 2 organizations. Everybody else, if you want me to speak for you, fine, I do it for the plenipotent company, and then you can copy it, and I can give you permission to copy, and all of that. Do you understand? I'm just saying now, but that is they will pay you this amount. No, I'm not doing for this period. So I've imprisoned myself that way. I'm not on social media. I've imprisoned myself that way. I've restricted. So you need to place restrictions, around yourself. The restrictions that help you grow, the restrictions that help you maximize your potential, the restrictions that help you convert, the intangible assets into, their tangible equivalents. Okay, because if you are looking for money, then there are intangible assets you have that you can convert to money. But if you are doing so many things, you are spreading your energies all over the place, you are, doing things that are not productive, then you won't even be able to do that conversion. So you need to consider yourself a prisoner and choose your prison. Otherwise, the world is going to be taking you from one prison to another prison, and you will not have the freedom that you seek. Now, I pray and hope, I hope and pray, that you will understand this, and I pray that the Holy Spirit will actually, open the eyes of our hearts and give us understanding, in Jesus' name. So you get what I'm saying. Now, so let me share some of my story with you, and then you can pick insights and principles, from that. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make when they are struggling financially is that, they borrow money, to meet, what they consider as their basic needs. Now, I've always said that don't borrow. Yes, I believe in not borrowing. You can do everything you need to do without borrowing. You can. The Bible says that you will lend to nations and you will not borrow. You can do everything you need to do without going into debt. But there are some times, for example, let's say that just for example, let's say you run a transport business, and then you need cars, for a transport business, and you have run this thing, you know how it works. You know that, okay, if you buy a car for 12 million naira, for example, you know that you are going to make 24 million naira within 1 year. You understand? If you buy a car for 12 million, you are not guessing. You have done your homework. You are going to make 24 million naira within 1 year if you buy a car for 12 million naira. And you know that you can conveniently afford, to pay 1 million naira every month. You don't have the 12 million to buy the car now, but because of the work you are doing, because of your, you know that maybe you make 6 million profit every month, for example. Just for example, this is illustration. You make 2.5 million profit every month, and you can conveniently out of that 2.5 million, or you can, put yourself under some restrictions, and you can afford it. You can afford to pay 1 million naira every month. Now, if you have the opportunity to buy a car, for your transport business, you have the opportunity to buy a car for 12 million, and then you are going to be paying 1 million every month, for 12 months, and that's the deal, that's the arrangement. Nothing is going to change about it, and you can do. Now, you are not in debt, except the date for the payment of the 1 million naira comes and you are not able to pay. Let's say you are supposed to pay your 1 million every 25th of the month, and then the 25th of the month comes, you pay by 24th, and you do that every month for 12 months. You are not indebted to anybody. You understand? So, but if the date comes and you are now struggling to pay, that is the problem. So, if you are going to take a loan, for example, you are going to borrow money, for that kind of thing, you are not indebted. It's not. Do you get what we are saying? But now, when you are borrowing money to buy liabilities, and liability is anything that is not making money for you, asset is something that makes money for you. If you buy that car, for example, instead of buying the car for your transport business, if it is maybe for your just for leisure, or for people to think that yes, you have arrived, then it is a liability, because it's not making you money. It's not delivering value to you in return. It's just your ego, that is satisfying. And somebody says ego, ego. Somebody says it means edging God out. So when you are driven by your ego, God cannot move in your circumstances, because you have edged him out. You understand? So you don't want to do things for ego. You don't want to do things for reputation. You want to do things for practical reasons and practical value. So you don't want to get into debt, for anything. You understand? Now, I said I was going to share our story. Let me start with when I was going to leave my job. That was sometime in around 2016, thereabout. Yes. And I had a car then, but I saw that the car was beginning to drive me instead of me driving the car. I was spending a lot of money, maintaining it, and it was. I sold it. I sold the car. They said, you've been driving. People now see you working. So what? So what? Do you understand? So and then I started working, and for years before I could balance again. And do you understand? So you need to be ready to make those decisions. At that point in time, I was about to get married, and then my fiancé asked me, okay, how much is your salary and all of that. I said, the next time you come and visit, ask for my payslip. I will give you so that you can see how much it is, because I honestly don't know how much my salary is. Why? I know what my gross salary is, but at the end of the day, I didn't know how much I was going to take home, because this deduction here, this deduction there, and all of that. I was not sure exactly how much, and it was the whole entire salary was not enough. Just like our lecturers used to say, and I think it's an ASU sticker, Association for Academic Staff Union. I think they are the ones that produce that sticker. My take home cannot take me home, something like that. I was in that kind of situation, where and I told you I always had to borrow money to parents and all of that. So and I thought about it. So I told my fiancé, now my wife, I said, see, I'm collecting salary I can't afford to pay rent conveniently. So what happens when I now stop the job and I say I want to start business that is not certain and all of that? I say, see, if I'm not able to pay rent, I'm going to move back to my parents' house. Are you okay with that? Now the point is, you say, how can you say? Well, the truth is I did not have to do that, but I was ready to do it if I needed to do it. So you need to be ready to do whatever it takes. If you need to sell your car, sell it. If you need to take a cheaper house, take it. If you need to move in with your parents or move in with a friend, do it. Now, it's just what you are doing is that you are going through the suffering, you are going through the shame, okay, so that you can now have a better resurrection. The Bible talks about those who did not accept deliverance because they were looking, for a better resurrection. Now, Jesus Christ, he said, if it's possible, let this cup pass over me. But they said, not my will, but your will. Now, the problem is many of us are trying to avoid that suffering. We're trying to avoid that shame. We're trying to avoid people looking at us in a certain way. Let them look at you whatever way. My son was going to resume school then, crèche and all of that. Crèche is not even like, and there was no money. I said, let him sit at home. Now I could borrow money and say, let's borrow money. And no, let him sit at home. Now the main story I wanted to share with you. So during this period that I'm talking about, we did not even have food. Like no food for weeks or maybe even months, no food. And then one way or the other we shall get some money to just buy garri day to day. Like today now we don't know what we're going to eat tomorrow, but one way or the other we shall get money to buy garri today, and then we eat that garri today, then tomorrow we buy garri again and we eat. And when I say garri, I mean garri with nothing else. Garri, in fact, me, I wasn't even adding water. My wife was adding water to her own. Me, I wasn't even adding water. And then my son would see me eating garri without water, and he would be eating his own like that. That was the life we were living. One day, one of my friends, and Edgoma, we were friends in secondary school. He was the president of our fellowship then in secondary school when I was in secretary. And we were good friends, very intelligent young man, but and we worked together at some points also. And then he visited, and there was nothing, like nothing. And then we went out together, and then he bought bread, bought fish, and then that was what we ate that night. Then there is a friend of my wife that used to visit us. She worked in this city, then she was a lecturer in this city, but she lives in Lagos. So when she comes around, she stays with us. So then she saw how we were living and all of that. And then the little boy too, I think it was 1 or 2, like he was around 1 year old at that time. And then everybody just get garri. And so she would buy Indomie, Indomie noodles and stuff like that for the young man, for my little boy. And then the rest of us would eat garri. And we were like that. We did not, our parents would call us and say, are you okay? We said, we are okay. We're okay. Do you understand? So you need to get to that point where, see, if I perish, I perish. Our God is able to deliver us, but even if he doesn't deliver us, we will not bow. That's the spirit. Now, when you're at that point, then God will begin to give you ideas. He begins to give you insights. He begins to open doors for you. Okay? Now, at that point, a number of things happened. For example, somebody recommended me for a project, and then before then, it was a social media management project, but it paid well. Then we used to do social media management, it paid well. But before then, now that's why I say God will move in your circumstances. Now, before then, now somebody else just reached out to me, and I had written a book. That's why it's important. Whatever God places on you, and just do it. Just like Jesus Christ, Mary told those people at the garden, at the wedding in Cana of Galilee, that whatever He tells you to do, do it. Now, so when God places something on your heart, do it. So then I had written a book. It started as a blog post. I wrote a blog post on the Minimalist Guide to Social Media Marketing. Then I converted it into a book. Published it on Amazon and all of that. And then somebody saw it from a social media management company. I don't want to mention the name of the company. It's one of these big companies that develop software for social media automation and all of that. And then the person saw maybe the article or the book, and then reached out to me and said, "Oh, can you help us promote this? We're going to give you free access to this platform." That platform there was hundreds of dollars per month. It's one of the most expensive ones, hundreds of dollars per month. We're going to give you 1 year access, just for you to use it, and then you can tell people about it and all of that. I wasn't looking for it. The opportunity came looking for me. And then it was shortly after that this social media management project came. Now, do you see that God is working? Do you understand? But I could have said, "Oh, I'm going to, borrow." Do you understand? Now, but God was working, and this is just one example. There are other examples like that. But then, when you now choose to do things your own way, then you hedge God out. Okay, it's either you let God do it for you, let God show you what to do, because we're co-laborers with God. Now, many of us were expecting God to change our situation. No, God wants to change us so that we can then change our situation. We're co-laborers with Him. So, but if we don't decide to labor with Him and we decide to just do things our own way, then we hedge Him out. We don't allow Him to work. Now, so we actually did that. We actually hedged Him out at some point when the suffering was so much, and we felt like, okay, let's just buy food. So there was a project we were handling then, and the client had paid, but our role was more like a middleman in that project. The client paid was, we were managing the project, we were project managers, and then we were going to pay the vendors, to get the job done. And they were paying us every month to pay the vendors. But it was not yet time to pay the vendors, and we just felt like, we could use this vendors' money, to buy food. Then by the time it is time to pay the vendor, we would have got more money to, get that settled. So we felt it was a good idea. We were hungry, we didn't have food, we just garri, and then there's this little boy that also needs to be taken care of. Now, what we should have done was to look up to God in prayer, let Him show us the way. But we felt like at least there's a way that we could borrow this money, go and buy food. Long story short, my wife went to Awolowo, this GTB at Awolowo, to withdraw money, and so that she could go to Bodija. Okay, those that are not in Ibadan, but you can search those places on the map, so that she could go to Bodija market, okay, and then buy food. So she withdrew the money, took a cab, to take her to Bodija market. She was robbed in the cab, and she called me. She started crying, and I said, "What, you have to come home? There's no need to cry." And thank God she had 500 naira at the bottom of the bag that she didn't know was there. That was the money that took her home. And then we started looking at each other's faces. Then we now had to look up to God. I would lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence cometh my help? Comes from the Lord. So that was, the breakthrough for us. Now it was the beginning of our breakthrough. Then that was when God now opened my eyes to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1 to 20. Go read that passage, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1 to 20. Now, God says that I suffered you to hunger and thirst, so that you may know that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out from the mouth of God. So when we are in situations where we're like, those situations are tight, we want to borrow money, we want to do this. Now, it is God that is arranging us in such a way that we now look up to Him. Then He can give us insight, He can give us ideas. He says, my ways are not your ways, my thoughts are not your thoughts. As the heavens are high above the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, are my thoughts higher than your thoughts. Now, your own way of meeting your need is borrowing. Your own thought about it is, so I can talk to a friend. But God is saying that I have a higher way, that will be dignified, and that will solve this problem permanently, and that you won't have to look up to anybody. Do you understand? But because you don't want to seek that higher way, you take the easy way. And all of us do it. I just gave you my own example of how we have this money now. Let's just use it, and then we can. All of us do it. But when we now grow beyond that level and we make up our minds that, see, whatever happens, let it happen. We are not going to borrow. We are not going to, do anything that is going to now just give us temporary relief, but does not solve the problem. It's just like a problem that needs to be solved with surgery, and then the person says no, and he just wants to keep taking pain reliever. Do the surgery and get it done with. Instead of you are taking pain reliever, and the pain reliever is even spoiling your body further. is destroying your body for that, in some other ways and all of that. So don't do that with money issues. Okay, let God show you, the higher way. Okay, so that's why I shared this, story. Like, food is basic need. Nobody will condemn you for, buying money, buying food, with borrowing money to buy food, because at least you have to survive. You have to be, nobody will condemn you for that. But then God is saying that, man shall not live by bread alone. That is the things. It's not just food now, but in our own case, it was literally even food. Now, but it's not just food, but the things that you think are basic need. Food is basic need. Accommodation is basic need. Clothing is basic need. Paying your children's school fees. Those things are basic needs. That God is saying that even those things that are basic needs, I have a word that I'm going to give to you. That word is going to produce. And see, this has been my experience. I go to God in prayer. God gives me words. Okay, tell this person this. Okay, create this offer for this person. Okay, and I will put up this project, and then I put those things together, and then I get results, by the grace of God. And if and when the funds are not available, I don't have the money for it now. I will wait until God makes the provision, and then I do it. Okay, so all of these things are happening because God is disciplining us. Sometimes, the Bible says that there is no son whom his father does not discipline. So, and sometimes he's not even, and how does he discipline us? Why does he discipline us? Because he wants us to become true disciples. So sometimes we're going through situations because God wants to discipline us, and then he wants to disciple us. And it is when we truly become disciples, we truly become followers, that he can reveal things to us. He can show us his ways. He can show us his thoughts, okay, and then we can live the way he wants us to live. So we need to respond correctly. Most people don't respond correctly. They look for the easy way out, and then they miss out on it. Now, so one other thing that we did at that point was that we heard messages by, just that's the thing. God will bring you resources that you need. We had short messages by Reverend Chris Oyakilome, and then Pastor Sam Adeyemi, and then Pastor Sam talked about how he attended a conference or a seminar, and then the facilitator, maybe the pastor, whoever was speaking there, said that, see, if you are not saving, you are a fool, and all of that. And like from the Bible says that there's more treasure in the house of the wise or the diligent or something, but a fool spends it all. It's in Proverbs. Now he said, that scripture really touched him and all of that, and then he explained how, when you have money saved, that there's a kind of confidence it gives you and all of that, and then that's on one hand. And then Reverend Chris Oyakilome also talked about how when the church started in those days, there was a time he called the person that was in charge of money. How much do we have? And they said, we don't have anything. How can we say we don't have anything? And then I don't remember the details, but I think it's like the income, for the month was usually around 8,000 naira. Okay, and the man gave the breakdown. This is how we spent it. Like, he didn't mismanage the money or anything. He gave the breakdown, and Pastor Chris said, see, you know what? Starting from next month, we save 5,000 naira and we only spend 3,000 naira. But I don't remember the details, but I think that was it. But the point is, from that teaching, we learned that, okay, they were actually saving 62.5% of every money that comes in. They were saving 62.5% of everything before spending that. And we decided, see, we're going to start doing that too. And now we started doing it. Every money that comes in, before we spend it, we take 62.5% and we save it. And that was how we started, and things. Now God will now begin to give you wisdom and now on how to make the remaining one sufficient. And then you also are going to now discipline yourself. Some things that are not necessary, you can overlook them. But many people don't want to do that. They don't want to subject themselves to all of those kind of things, and that is the problem. I'm just sharing this with you so that you see some of the practical steps that we have taken and how they can also help you, how you can adapt them for yourself. Bilal said something that is very instructive, and I've found it true. He said that debt, D-E-B-T, debt, when you are borrowing money, he says debt comes from wanting more than God's current provision for your life and arranging other ways to get it. That's what Bilal says. Bilal says, he says debt comes from wanting more than God's current provision for your life and arranging other ways to get it. So recognize God's current provision for your life, live within that current provision, okay, at that time, and then look up to him for higher ways. Okay, higher ways, higher thoughts. He says, my ways are higher than your ways, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. So seek those higher ways, seek those higher thoughts, and then produce results with them, make more money with them. And when you have this kind of mindset, God will begin to give you divine intelligence. Look at the example of Joseph. Joseph in Egypt. Now, when the whole world was experiencing famine, God gave him the strategy: save 20% of everything that is coming in for the next 7 years, and then they did that, and then they had an abundance. Now, Joseph did not give it for free, So this is very important. He didn't give it for free. When they said that we don't have money, he said, okay, bring your lands. Okay, they started giving their land. Okay, then when they didn't have land again to give, they said, we don't have land to give, but we still want to buy food. They said, okay, fine, give yourself. You are going to be working as laborers. So in return for your labor, we give you food. Now, it's not callous. It's the principle of stewardship. You can't just be giving and not getting value in return. Now, everybody knew, it was national news. Everybody knew that there was famine that was going to come 7 years from now. So everybody could have planned for it. They could have prepared for it. So those that did not plan and prepare for it, they could not now put their burden on those that planned and prepared and paid the price. It's also like the parable of the 10 virgins. Now, all of them could have prepared with extra oil, but those that did not have extra oil could not put. So those that had extra, they said, go and buy for yourselves. Do you understand? So it's important. If people don't have money to give, they need to have other things. Now, but we have people that they don't have money, they don't have time, they don't have energy. So what do you have? You need to have something. If you don't have money, you need to have something else that you can exchange, okay, for money. And if you are already exchanging that thing in ways that are not paying you, then look for ways that will pay you, and then exchange those things in those ways, that will pay you, okay, so that you can, get the results that you seek and ultimately achieve freedom. Also, look at the example of Jacob in Laban's house. He was serving there for free, and then he now had to devise a method for, okay, paying, okay, I will take this kind of sheep, you take that kind of sheep, and all of that. And Laban was even trying to cheat him several times. But because Jacob was working with all of his heart, you can Google all of those stories, Jacob and Laban, Joseph in Egypt. You can Google, if you are not familiar with those stories, Google them up and read them. Now, so Jacob was working with his own heart, and then God gave him strategies to become wealthy. Laban was even a bad employee. He didn't want to pay him, but because Jacob had the mindset of a steward. He was working. He told Laban that when a wild animal comes and kills your sheep, I don't even tell you. I replace it with my own. Like that guy had, he had a heart of service, and he gave it his all. And then God rewarded him for it. But a lot of people are just looking for what to get. They don't have that stewardship mindset. They don't have that abundance mindset. They are not looking to help others. They are not generous. They are not liberal. And the Bible says, the liberal soul shall be made fat. There's someone that scatters and yet has more. There's someone that withholds more than is necessary and tends to penury. They don't want to serve anybody. They don't want to give their time, their energy, their attention. It's just about them. Now, if you're that kind of person, then God is limited in the ways He can operate in your life. You understand? So you need to be willing to serve, like the examples of Jacob and Laban that we've given, and then God begins to give you divine intelligence. It shows you things that will happen and how to prepare yourself ahead of those things, so that the things that are problems for other people now become your own opportunities. Do you understand? Very important. Now, so I'm going to just summarize some things now, and then I'll share some of my own examples with you, and we close. Understand the difference between busy work and productive work. Don't do any busy work. I'm not saying do less busy work. No, don't do any busy work. Make sure that all of the work you are doing is productive work. Then don't discount your intangible assets like your knowledge, your skills, and your experience. If you have knowledge, skills, and experience that are valuable, put them up for sale. Maybe you write a book and you sell the book. Maybe you offer services and you charge for those services. But don't discount those things. Don't say, what is it now? It's just like the woman that had little oil. That woman that went to meet Prophet Elisha. She said, I have nothing, but she had something, even though it was little oil. But it was that little oil that she eventually sold. She packaged it and sold it. In the same way, you can package your knowledge, your skills, your experience, and sell it. I will show you practical examples of how I am doing that and how you can also do it. Okay? So you should also recognize the value of intangible assets such as time, energy, and attention. I'm summarizing some of the key things we have said. Don't waste them, rather convert them. These are intangible assets. These are resources. They are currencies, other forms of currency. Your time, your energy, your attention. Don't waste them. Don't just spend time with anybody. Okay, watch TV, watch news. Do a lot of things that don't really add value to you. Now, if your work requires it, that means it is adding value to you because your work is making you money. But if it is not making you money or creating value for you in other practical ways, then don't deceive yourself. Be honest about it. This thing is not delivering value for me. Okay, how can I convert it? You have a project you are working on, it's not delivering value for you. How can you convert it? How can you do the same thing for somebody else, that will help you get value from it? And then once you now get enough value from it, then you can go back and be doing your thing. Do you understand? I'm just saying that it's important to be honest with oneself and admit the results you are having and make the changes you need, okay, to get the kind of results that you want. Then don't buy what you don't need. There are a lot of people that buy things they don't need just for whatever reason. Maybe your friend is doing a ceremony and they say they are buying ashwebi, and you don't need clothes at that point in time. You don't need to buy the ashwebi if you don't need to buy. And I just use that as an example. If you even do things for yourself that you think I need this thing, but you don't check, do you really need it? If you really need it, fine. If you don't need it, don't buy. And when I say don't buy what you don't need, I'm not talking about just buying with money. Even with your time, your energy, your attention, don't buy what you don't need. People are sharing gossip somewhere, and then okay, so what is it? What are you talking about? Now, do you need to know? You are buying that gossip with your time, your energy, your attention, and you say you want to make money. Where the time, energy, and attention you should convert to make money, you have already given it to something else, and then well, do you understand? So it's important to don't buy what you don't need, and then don't buy liabilities, buy assets. Anything that takes money from you is a liability. The things that give you money, they are assets. Don't use your time, your energy, your attention for things that don't add value. Even God, he says, I think it's in the book of Isaiah, that why do you buy that which is not bread? Why do you spend your money on that which does not satisfy? Do you understand? So it's important to have, that level of discipline. Now, I'll just share, some concluding thoughts about, going into debt, borrowing and all of that, So now you ask yourself, when you're in a situation where you want to borrow money, ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? Like in my own case, then I ask, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, I won't have accommodation. So what will I do? Okay, I'll go to my parents' house and go and stay there. So what's the worst that could happen? Ask yourself. Now, the truth is that at the end of the day, the worst that could happen is that your ego will die. Now, the things you are thinking of as problems, they're not really problems. It's just ego, but you don't know. It looks like it's a real problem, but if just accept that, okay, if I don't have this money now, what else can I do? Then do it. Do you understand? Even if it looks like it's it's below your status or whatever you have to do, do it. You understand? And then your ego will die. And once your ego dies, then you stop edging God out, and God has the opportunity to move in your life. Jesus Christ made himself of no reputation. He suffered everything, did everything, and then he was able to now resurrect to a point where all of those things no longer have power over him. So what is going to happen to you when you make this kind of decision is that you are going to break free from all of the invisible chains that are holding you, all of the limiting beliefs, all of the wrong mindsets. You will break free from them. But it will look as if like, am I not going to die? Am I not going to kill myself? But you are not going to die. You are not going to kill yourself. Nothing wrong is going to happen to you. You may suffer some shame temporarily. You may suffer some pain. But Jesus also suffered all those things. And we should experience the life of everybody that wants to really maximize their life. Jesus is the pattern. Everybody will experience everything that Jesus experienced. But when you experience it willingly, Jesus said, I lay down my life willingly of my own self. Nobody forced me to lay it down. So when you lay it down willingly, you rise. When you don't lay it down willingly, you die. Like you keep going down. I'm telling you, that's the way it works. But when you willingly say, I'm going to face it, then you rise. But when you don't face it and situations and circumstances compel you and keep compelling you, then you keep going down. That's the way it happens. I've experienced both sides and I know which one is better. Okay, so at the end of the day, what happens is that you now become strong and courageous. If you follow this thing that I'm saying, you are not looking for the easy way out, you are instead searching for the higher way, then God will make you strong and courageous so that you can now enter into your promised land. You stop the wilderness experience and you enter your promised land. While in the wilderness, just accept everything that God is bringing your way. He's giving you manna, just like in our own case. At least we were having something to do. Just didn't like what we were eating. We were eating gari, and we did not fall sick. How can you imagine somebody eating only gari, especially only gari, and no sickness, no going to the hospital, nothing like is that not a miracle? Now you say you want food, and then you now borrow money to buy food, and then thief collect the money again, and then you now created double problem. Do you understand? So whatever God is providing for you, accept it, and walk within the boundaries of that provision at that point in time. And then as you do that, God will begin to give you wisdom, He will give you strength, and then you become courageous, and then you will begin to move, from the wilderness into the promised land, where you now have abundance. But if you don't do all of these things, you will die in the wilderness. That's just the way it happens. All of these scriptures, they are written for our example, and then there are principles we can pick from them, for the practical issues of everyday life. Now, let's read Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 to 13. I want to point out some things there. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 to 13. I'll read it from the Passion Translation. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 to 13. Okay. As for us, we have all of these great witnesses who encircle us like clouds. So we must let go of every wound that has pierced us and the sin we so easily fall into. then we will be able to run life's marathon race with passion and determination, for the path has already been marked out before us. For the path has been already marked out before us. We look away from the natural realm and we fasten our gaze onto Jesus, who birthed faith within us and who leads us forward into faith's perfection. His example is this: because his heart was focused on the joy of knowing that you would be his, he endured the agony of the cross and conquered its humiliation, and now sits exalted at the right hand of the throne of God. So consider carefully how Jesus faced such intense opposition from sinners who opposed their own souls, so that you won't become worn down and cave in under life's pressures. After all, you have not yet reached the point of sweating blood in your opposition to sin. And have you forgotten his encouraging words spoken to you as his children? He said, "My child, don't underestimate the value of the discipline and training of the Lord God, or get depressed when he has to correct you. For the Lord's training of your life is the evidence of his faithful love. And when he draws you to himself, it proves you are his delightful child." Fully embrace God's correction as part of your training, for he is doing what any loving father does for his children. For who has ever heard of a child who never had to be corrected? We all should welcome God's discipline as the validation of authentic sonship. For if we have never once endured his correction, it only proves we are strangers and not sons. And isn't it true that we respect our earthly fathers even though they corrected and disciplined us? Then we should demonstrate an even greater respect for God, our spiritual father, as we submit to his life-giving discipline. Our parents corrected us for the short time of our childhood as it seemed good to them, but God corrects us throughout our lives for our own good, giving us an invitation to share his holiness. Now, all discipline seems to be more pain than pleasure at the time. Yet later, it will produce a transformation of character, bringing a harvest of righteousness and peace to those who yield to it. So be made strong even in your weakness by lifting up your tired hands in prayer and worship, and strengthen your weak knees. For as you keep walking forward on God's paths, all your stumbling ways will be divinely healed. So read that for yourself. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1 to 13. I just read from the Passion Translation. You can read it from the Passion Translation. You can get it from eSword or YouVersion Bible or other Bible app. Now, and then read it in other translations and think about it in the context of what we're saying. So when you need money, when you think you are in this very strict, you are in a strict place, you are in a place where you are under life's pressures and all of that, and you want to take the easy way out, you want to borrow, you want to beg, you want to do some things like that, know that God is disciplining you. He's showing you some things you have done wrong. That's the truth though. Like in my own case, for example, I was doing a lot of things, I was just busy, but I was not being productive. And then that was feedback. Lack is feedback. Accept it as feedback. And then instead of now looking for pain reliever, then look for what is going to solve that problem permanently. Do you understand? Every time you are experiencing lack, it is feedback. So take that feedback, look at that symptom, and then deal with the root cause. Accept the discipline, that God is bringing your way. Say, okay, fine, so I'm not going to borrow for this thing. So if I'm not going to borrow, so what else do I do? So how do I, you understand, how do I subject myself, and all of that? Okay, do I need to delay this thing? Do I need to do something and get the money? For example, I was going to make a trip recently, and normally I would have loved to take the car, because it will make things more convenient and easier for me and all of that, and it's a tool, and all of that. But, the tires are not good, enough for, making long trips. And I said, what? I told my wife, I said, we're going to change these tires because I want to make a trip and all that. And she said, is it a need? And I looked at her, I have to agree with her. It's not a need. I could as well take, public transport, travel and all of that and come back. It would be more painful. It would be more, but I will welcome that pain. And then instead of dumbing down the pain, instead of trying to relieve the pain, let me endure that pain, and then let me amplify that pain so that I can now do whatever it is I need to do to make the money that will make it easy and convenient to replace the tires. Do you understand? But I could take from savings and say, okay, let's buy this, but that would be a bad decision. And that's when you need a good wife and you also need a good husband, and both of you need to agree. That's if you are married. And if you're not married, you need somebody, like we all need somebody, you need somebody you can talk to, somebody that can give you good advice. That's why I always tell everybody, if you really want to succeed in life, you need at least 3 people in your life. You need a coach, okay, or a coach or a mentor. Somebody can play both roles. Then you need a mentee. You need somebody that you are also pouring into. You need somebody pouring into you, share rubbing minds with you, and then you also need somebody you are pouring into. You need a coach or a mentor. You need a mentee, and then you need an assistant. You need somebody that will help you. Now, your assistant, if you are married, your assistant could be your spouse, because the Bible says that God gave Adam a help that is a helpmeet, a help that is stable, adaptable, and complementary, to him. But then you need an assistant also, like somebody that assists you with your work. You need a coach, you need a mentor, you need people in your life, because sometimes you want to take some decisions, but by having conversations with those people, they redirect your steps and then help you make the right decisions. Okay, so think about that passage that we read, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 to verse 13. Now, what is going to happen is that you are going to feel like, okay, I'm supposed to pay my rent, for example, or I'm supposed to pay my child's school fees, or I'm supposed to, like, something very important. So what if I do, if I don't do this, if I don't borrow this money, what is going to happen? I'm going to suffer humiliation. I'm going to read that passage. That humiliation is part of the process. Go through it, and then you are going to rise. Now, what will happen eventually is that you are going to overcome that situation for life. You will be at a point where, because you will discover things that, okay, you cannot, because people can tell you what they have done, just like I've shared some examples with you, but they cannot tell you what to do because your situation is different. But once you understand what others have done and you understand the principles, then you will know what to do in your own situation. Do you understand? You will know what to do in your own situation. And if you need, direct counsel, feel free to, book a session. We can sit together, we'll explore, options, and then I will give you practical things to do in your own situation. Just like Elisha, spoke with that woman, that prophet's wife, and told her exactly what to do. So we can have a session like that, and I'll tell you exactly, what to do. Okay, if you don't know, but you understand everything we have said, you agree with the principles, but you don't know exactly what to do, feel free to book a session, and then we'll discuss further. Now, it's like the story, the process you have to go through is like this story. You might have heard it before, of a man that had a beautiful daughter, and a lot of guys wanted to marry the daughter, and the man said, I want somebody that is strong and courageous to marry my daughter, not just anybody. So all of you come for a contest. So they came, and then he said, see this swimming pool. There was a big swimming pool in their compound, in their yard, and they said, see, there are crocodiles, in this pool, and those crocodiles were actually raising their heads. And said, crocodiles. So the person that will marry this, my daughter, has to swim through the pool with all of the crocodiles and get to the other end. And they say, hey, everybody was like, no. And then all of a sudden, they just saw one man swimming in this, and then everybody was, hey. And then the man swam, and then he got to the end, and everybody, and then when they finished, and then everybody was praising him, and then he was like, who pushed me? That was what he said. Who pushed me? So now he wouldn't have entered into that river or into that swimming pool. Okay, there are various versions of the story. Some say swimming pool, some say river. Now, he wouldn't have entered, if somebody had not pushed him. So the situation you are in is pushing you. You understand? But the point is that those crocodiles, what he did not know, what the man did not tell them, was that those crocodiles are toothless crocodiles. They could not do anything. They had been domesticated, as it were, and all of that. And I actually, worked in the zoo for a while, so I understand that. And I entered crocodile pit. I did not say you should do that. I entered crocodile pit, played with crocodiles, big crocodiles, and nothing. So I understand it. But I'm just saying that is what is going to happen to you. Now, you feel that if you take those decisions, you are going to shortchange yourself. You are going to, you may have issues, yes, but you will overcome those issues, and you will come out at the end successful. So, but let that situation push you, into the pool instead of you trying, to avoid the pool. Okay. Now, so let me now share some examples, of how, I have, implemented this. I've said you need to package. Number one, if you are looking for money, you need to have value to add. But it's not enough to just know how to add value, how to create value. You also need to it's not enough to know how to create value. You also need to know how to communicate that value and also capture value. So I talk about that a lot because it's important. It's fundamental. You need to learn how to create value, communicate value, and capture value in return. So how do you do that? So package the value you have. Just like that woman, she had a little oil, that prophet's widow, but then she packaged it, she poured it into containers, packaged it, and then sold it. So package the value you have in a way that makes sense to those that need it. So you can package that value into products, you can package it into services. Then you should also do upselling and cross-selling. You are selling something. Now you can sell something and then, sell an upgraded version of the same thing, that is going to make you more profit. And then you can sell other things that are related to it that will make you more money. I will show you examples, okay, from my own business and from my own life. But let me share one example that I saw recently. I was at Ife recently, for a meeting and also to visit my mom. And then I saw a car dealership, close to OAU Teaching Hospital. Those of you that know Ife, you know where I'm talking about. And then I saw a lot of things, so car trackers. What it does is it sells cars, or what they do, I don't know what it is. What it is, they sell cars. But they also, every other thing that you need, car tracker, car insurance, all of that, they wrote it that they offer all of those things. So that once you get there, anything you need about your car, you will get it done. So that is an example of cross-selling. What they are really selling is car, but they now have other, they are selling cars, but they now have every other service that a car owner will need, so they can make money from those things. So those are some of the things you can also do. That's an example of cross-selling. An example of upselling. Maybe you are a fashion designer, for example, and then somebody buys somebody buys a buba, a buba, a native buba, from you, and then you say, why not? You can buy agbada instead. Now you can buy buba with agbada. It's still the same outfit, but now an upgraded form. But then you make more money. You understand? So you can apply these concepts and these principles in your own context. Then partnerships. Okay, you can partner with organizations that produce products and services that complement what you are producing and that allow you to make extra profit. For example, we do website development, and then we partnered with companies like Dreamhost. Okay, and then when people that were training on website development, when they buy hosting from Dreamhost, we get a commission for that at no extra cost to them. And we're not just recommending Dreamhost because of the commission, we're recommending them because we have used it. We've used several platforms, several hosting companies, and we have the experience with Dreamhost has been wonderful, because all web hosting companies offer this. All of the major important web hosting companies, they offer affiliate partnerships and all of that. So the point I'm making is that you offer partnerships that allow you to make money. You enter partnerships that allow you to make money, but it's not just about the money. You must make sure that the partnership is actually delivering value to the people that you are introducing to it, because otherwise you are going to create problems for yourself. There was a time we were recommending another company, that was years ago, and that was even before we started the Planifited Company. It was just me. I was recommending HighPage then, and HighPage was paying well, like they were paying well, but I found that the service was not. So I told everybody, simply stop using HighPage. This is the next one I'm using. I've tested it, and then you understand. But I'm just saying that when you are into a partnership, don't let it just be because of the money. Yes, make the money, but make sure that you also deliver value. Then one other thing I talked about, the way you use your time, your energy, and your attention. There are some things that just for it's not pride or anything, but you are above that level. You know the things that you are above, like spending your time and your energy for those things is not worth it. That's why people get to a point where they have drivers. It's not because they want to prove anything, no, because at that point in time, the time and energy they spend driving, the attention on the road, there are more important things they could be doing at the back of the car. So they would rather pay a driver to drive them, and then they can focus on those more important things. Do you understand? It's not a matter of I've arrived. No, it's about productivity. Do you get it? So in the same way, find out the things that you can pay other people to do, or you can create a system. Sometimes it's not even by paying. For example, when we started the Planifited Company, we didn't have money to pay anybody. So we started an internship program. We could give them skills, exposure, experience, people that needed it, and they valued it. It was valuable to them. They had what we needed. We also had what they needed. And it was a good relationship, and a lot has come out from that. I can't begin to talk about that now. A lot. That was how we went into recruitment, for example, and we handle very big recruitment projects. But if we didn't start the internship, that would not happen. And we didn't need to pay. Understand? We only needed to pay after they have produced results. And even from there, we also developed a performance-based remuneration system. So what I'm saying is that you need to make up your mind. I don't have money, for example. I don't have money, but this thing I shouldn't be doing. I shouldn't be spending my time and my energy and my attention on this thing. I need to find other people that will be doing this thing. So how can I do that? Then you now begin to have ideas. For example, you can have profit sharing. To find people that let's do this together, and then we share the profit. There are creative ways, more creative ways to make money than just salary. So you may not pay people salaries, and you can be giving them greater value than if you are paying them salaries. So find ways to take off a lot of things that you don't need to be doing. Let other people be doing that. If you want to learn more about that, you can read this book, Who Not How by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Addy. So that means if you want to do something, don't ask, how can I do this thing? Ask, who can do it for me? Do you understand? Who can do this thing for me? And then pay the person, or find an arrangement, a mutually beneficial arrangement, and let them do it for you. And then you focus on the few important things. Then it's also important to deliberately, if you are a business owner, and even in your personal life, reduce overheads. The things that you spend money on, reduce them, reduce overheads. The things that you just spend money and you are not, they may deliver, they may not deliver, reduce them. One of the ways to do that, if you are running a business, for example, instead of buying subscriptions that you have to pay for every month, buy lifetime deals. You can get lifetime deals from a lot of places. One of those sources is AppSumo. For those of you that may not know, appsumo.com. If you go to appsumo.com, they have some lifetime deals, but then everything comes with its own risk. Some of those lifetime deals will buy them, after a while they will fold up, they say they are not offering again, so you have to weigh everything, you understand. But the point is, in situations where you can get lifetime deals, instead of paying monthly, get the lifetime deal, pay for it once and for all, and then you can save costs. In situations where you can use AI to get your job done and improve it, instead of hiring somebody to do it for you, use AI. If it is cheaper for you. So always look for ways to reduce your expenses, reduce your overheads. In my own case, when I was going to leave my job, I told you, for example, I sold my car because it was an overhead for me. The cost of maintenance was too much. I told you the car was beginning to drive me instead of me driving the car. So the overhead was too much. I sold it. And then I started, so you understand, so it's important to reduce your overhead. I also moved. One other thing I didn't mention, I moved from Lagos. Fine, there is a story behind it, how God ordered my steps, how God used my company, how I was posted out of Lagos and all of that. But the point is, I moved from a house, from an apartment where I was paying 400,000 naira per month, apart from all of the other charges. Sorry, 400,000 naira per year. Then, I was paying 400,000 naira per year, apart from the other service charges and all of that. Then I moved from there to a house where I was paying 70,000 naira, per year. Look at that, 400,000 to 70,000. So that 1 year that I spent in that house where I only had to pay 70,000, and I didn't even have to pay the money. The company paid the money for me, and then that 1 year helped me to balance, pay off my debt, and then I now started building from there. So whatever sacrifices you need to make those sacrifices. I told my wife I was going to move to my parents' house. My parents are in Ife. I was in Lagos at the time. You know what that means. You are going back. But I was ready to do it. So whatever you need to do to cut down your overhead, to cut down your expenses, either as a business or as an individual, do it. Okay. So very important. So now let me begin to share the examples. Now, I said that money is a means of exchange of value. I've said that indirectly at some point, that you need to have something valuable that you are offering to people, and you need to know what you are offering to people, and you need to package it in a way that makes sense to them, in a way that is valuable for them. Okay. Yes, so I want to show you some examples of how to do that. Now, look at this, for example. If you go to digitalvineyard.uk/packages, you will see different service packages. Now, I said don't discount your knowledge, your skills, your experience. Package it to create value that you can sell to others. Now, some people, you have service you are offering, you have something you can do, but you have not packaged it in a way that makes sense to the people you want to sell it to. They don't understand. You say, well, what do you do? Okay, how can we patronize you? What can we buy from you? You don't know, but you need to have something to sell. You need to have, even if you don't have a business, you need to have something to sell. That's why you write CVs. You are showing them what you can do, based on what you have done before. You understand? You need to be able to sell yourself, sell your skills, sell your knowledge. And even if you don't have a business, you should still have something you are doing. It helps. Have something you are doing on the side, without affecting your business. I wrote about that in my book, How to Start Your Own Business Without Quitting Your Job. You can have a business on the side without using your employer's resources, without cheating your employer in any way. So that's also something that you should consider. So look at this now. Service packages. We have website development, website maintenance, ghostwriting, content marketing, book publishing, transcription. When you open each of them, for example, the website packages, see what it looks like. So it's detailed. Now you understand what you are getting. So if I say, oh yeah, I can build the website for you and all of that, now I can send a link to this page and you see the different packages. You see how everything has been structured. So this is how you can get more value. If you're a consultant, or also, for example, you need to communicate what you're offering in a way that shows the value you are providing. So if somebody says, I don't have 600K, okay, you can look up. So which of these do you want us to remove? Okay, 5 custom email accounts. Do you want 1 email instead? Okay, do you want us to remove the post development support? Do you understand? So you can negotiate. It makes it easier. Now we've had situations where we send proposals and the clients will tell us, or the prospects who later became clients, they will tell us that, see, yours was the most expensive, but you know what you are doing. Your proposal shows that you know what you are doing. We want to work with you, and they do, because we have created value and communicated that value in a way that makes sense to them. So you can look through this as an example. Okay, how can you also package the value you are adding, or the value you are creating for people? How can you package it in a way that makes sense to them and that shows what you are doing? Now, for example, one of the things we do when we build websites, just to show you how, like when you are charging people, you are charging them well, but you're also giving them much more value than what they are paying for. Now, if somebody builds a website, with us and pays 3.6 million, for example, you like 3.6 million, but the truth is that website will make the money back. Now, and the website will also save them money. For example, we do a website handover manual. That's one of the things we do when we build websites. Now, if you build a website for an organization, they will need a webmaster to manage that website. They can pay for our website management services and we manage it for them, or they can hire a webmaster. But whichever way, is going to cost them more money. And it's just like your car. At the end of the day, you spend more money on the car, okay, than the money you used to buy it, maintenance, buying fuel, changing tires, all of those things. Or like clothes, you want to, I've seen many situations where my wife will take clothes to the tailor, and then the money, and even my own clothes sometimes, the money you are spending, that you are paying the tailor or the fashion designer is more than the money that you used to, is more than the cost of the material itself. Do you understand? Website can be like that. Okay, so now we're saying that, okay, instead of you paying us to manage the website for you or hiring a webmaster to manage it for you, we're giving you a website handover manual and training that allows you to do everything yourself, or to give it to somebody that is already on your staff, that you don't have to hire somebody new. Now, let us say that ordinarily, maybe they would be paying the webmaster 150,000 naira per month. So that means that instead of paying webmaster 150,000 naira per month, or instead of paying for our own services, they can now get that done like for free, on their own without any extra cost. So that means every year we're saving them 150,000 times 12. How much is that? That's 1.8 million. So that means that we're saving them. They only spend 3.6 million naira once, but we are now saving them 1.8 million in recurring income. So any business person that understands this will say, see, it's better for me to work with these 3.6 people, these people that want to charge me 3.6 million, than somebody that wants to charge me 360,000 and I have to keep paying and keep paying. Do you understand? So you need to think through and see how you are creating value for your clients beyond the money that you are asking them to pay. And you need to show them, okay, what have you done before? That's you can't just be saying I can do second. What have you done before? What are the people that you worked for? What are they saying? Put testimonials, and all of that, and then have a process. Don't just say, okay, I want to build website. For example, I'm just using website as an example. You can use any service you are offering. They call you or they say, I want to build website. Okay, and you start arguing on the phone. Okay, how much is it? 600k. Okay, show back 400. Okay, can you take 400? Okay, no. Can you, and you now start. You need to have a process, system, structure, professionalize your operation. So, for example, let's say I want a website. We send them to this, page, and then they look at it. So they decide if they want to work with us or not. You understand? And if they want to work with us, they click on request code, they complete a questionnaire. Based on the responses from the questionnaire, we prepare a website development plan or a work plan for the project, or a project plan, and then by the time that all of that communicates professionalism, it shows what we are doing, it shows what you are doing, and then we answer all their questions, and all of that, and even if people land here first for whatever reason, they can also click here and see all of the packages that we offer. Now, do you see how we are creating value and also communicating that value in a way that makes sense, to the people? Now, on this same website development, we have website development, then we also have website management services. Okay, that's I showed you that under the packages before. You can check it out on your own later. Website maintenance service. Now, and then we also have this. Now, we have special offer. This is our standard, these are our standard packages. But from time to time, we also create special offers. Like we had an offer, look at this now. We had an offer that expired on March 29, okay, 2024. But I just want to show you, you can visit this yourself and see, just to see, like, you have value to add, yes, but you need to package it, you need to communicate it in a way that makes sense. Look at this now. You can go through this, you see everything they are getting, you see the value, and these are not arbitrary values. This is how much they will really have to pay, if they are doing it, other ways and all of that. So total value $6,100. Okay, that is how much they should have paid. But we're now saying that they should only. Yes, you see the details here. Now, see all of the things. Now, we're now saying that they will only have to pay $365. So, where is that? Sorry, 360. Look at, so you only pay, we explained everything. So they only pay $360 per year. That's less than $1 per day. Now, see that communication. So somebody that really needs it and can afford it will be, to make sense to them. $1 less than $1 per day, and then everything they get the website for free, and then they, instead of paying $6,100, and then they also reduce cost of maintenance, hosting, they take the stress of them and all of that. So now if you go through this, we understand. And when you say an offer expires, let it first expire when you know what you are doing. Now look at this now. So anybody that visits this now and wants to accept the offer, once you come here, it has expired, so they can reach out and ask questions. We will still have another offer, but this particular one has expired. Do you understand? So those are some of the ways you are creating value, you are communicating the value, you are putting a lot of things together. You are not just saying, come and buy my stuff. You are showing them how it will make sense. You are showing them that this thing is an investment. You want people to know that yes, they made a wise investment, that they didn't just lose their money. Now, still on the same website, can you see how you can get a lot of value from one thing? It's about how you think, which is why the Bible says that the lazy man does not roast his game. Now, anything that you have is like, okay, a hunter that goes into the bush to hunt, and then there is a lot you can do with that animal. But if you just leave the animal there, it will decay and it will waste. For when you roast it, you can get value from it in other ways. So whatever you are doing, you can get a lot of value from it when you are diligent. And diligence begins with thinking. A lot of people don't want to do that work of thinking, and a lot of people don't even have the thinking tools because they've not invested in their minds. They've not read the books they should read. They've not worked with the kind of people they should work with. They've not served, they've not taken the courses they should take, or they are just taking courses and just reading in a vacuum. Now, the way it really works is that you are working on a real life project. You are working in a real life context. You are trying to solve a real problem. Like, my children are soon going to resume school now. I know we have to pay school fees. So that's a real life problem. So how do I solve that problem? How do I get money, to pay their school fees? So I'm thinking of that, and then I want to solve it practically. And then I think of offers to create. Do you understand? I pray, I get ideas, I implement those ideas and insights. Do you understand? So now that is, it's not just that I'm just reading generally. Do you get it? So as you do that, and then you now begin to put structure into what you are doing, so you can get more value from one thing. Now, see how many things I've shown you from just website development alone. Now, for example, then look at this. We also have this, virtual business school where we have courses that people can buy. Instead of like, teach me this, there's a course, go and buy it. Now, we can give you a coupon code that allows you to get it at a discount, or maybe even get it for free. But you know that you are getting value. Do you understand? You know that this thing you should have paid for it. Do you get? So when you are even giving people something for free, create a system around it. Don't just give it for free. So can you see all of the different ways that we can make money? And even this is still the same website development skill that we use to set this up. Do you understand? So the point is, you can use one skill and create a lot of value, with it. Then look at this quick website.digitalvania.com. It's still websites. Still website, but here we have ready-made websites for people that want a website, instantly or urgently within 72 hours. They just come and look at, the website, view it, see what it looks like. If they like it, they pay, they buy, and then within 72 hours, we deploy the website, for them. Now, all of these things that I've shown you, they are examples of how you can package your offer in 3 forms. One is DIY. That's one level. Then there is DWY. Then there is DFY. DIY is do it yourself. Now, so if somebody says, your money is too much, I cannot pay for this website, okay, no problem. Take our website development course. We can even give you free access or sponsored access. You can take this course, build professional websites without coding. We give you access to the course, or you pay for the course if you cannot pay for the website, and then you build your website yourself. That is DIY. So whatever you are offering, you look for different ways to meet the needs of different segments of your market. So the people that don't want to pay for websites, but they have the money to, they have the time and the energy to build it themselves, then let them buy the course. They can buy the course and do it themselves. That's DIY. Then DWY, done with you. Now we get information from them, and then we work on it together. That is the offer where they can buy a package, or a special offer, and then all of that. Then there is the done for you. The ready-made website is already there. We have done it. So just give us your content. We can even create the content for you. You don't need to worry about anything. It's a done for you offer. Do you understand? But the same product, different offers, from one product. Do you understand? Then this is also another example of an offer, digital entrepreneurship empowerment program. And if you want to learn everything that I know personally and everything that we do in the company, this is one way to get everything. And I told you how we are capturing value from this now. Before, we just do it and then people just go and that is all. But now we have designed it in a way that we are giving a lot of value, but we're also capturing value in return. Everything we are giving, and again, these are not arbitrary values. Okay, you are getting anybody that participates in this program gets practical. You see it yourself. If you are buying those things yourself and you are paying, you will pay more than $22,000. But at the end of the day, how much are we saying you should pay to register? You only pay $997. So can you see how we're giving a lot of value, but we have packaged it with wisdom such that you can pay this amount and it's still a win-win for everyone. And even if you don't want to pay, you can apply for scholarship. But the scholarship now is not that just free money. No. You work, and then you work for it. Do you understand? So these are just examples. If you go through all of these things, we understand how you can package the value you have to offer in a way that makes sense to the people that you want to buy it. Then on my personal website also, in fact, I'm even starting with a free gift. I'm welcoming you with a free. Do you understand? Generosity, is also important. So now people sign up, and then I can keep in touch with them and all of that. Then their products, this is there are a lot of platforms, that they can connect business, then there are products. If you click on resources, it takes you to the products. These are teachings that I've had. This is a book, and all of that. So you can do all of these things. Now, all of these things, Rome was not built in a day, but you have to get started. So once you start, then you begin to make improvements. You begin to build. You understand? But if you don't start, then nothing happens. If you are just putting your energy, your time, your attention in the things that are not producing for you, then you are wasting it. But now, if you build, those things may not produce immediately. It's like a farmer that is planting cash crops. He will not harvest immediately, but once he starts harvesting, he continues to harvest for life. Do you understand? So it's important to build things like this that you can get value, from this. These are just examples. You can customize them for yourself. And like I said, if you need, a one-on-one, consultation, you can, easily reach out and we will work that out. So I just wanted to show you, those examples. Okay, let me show you one more example. Because some of you will say, I don't even have anything. You have knowledge, you have skills, you have experience. You can have, something like this. Look at this booking page. There are different kinds of bookings. Instead of people just calling you, I want to pick your brain, and they have not invested anything in your life. They have no stake. They have nothing. They're just taking everything. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You are not being a good steward. And I've been there. But now I've changed. So project consultation. You want to discuss your project, book and you pay, and then we discuss. Personal consultation. We have different. The answers for your business, mentoring and feedback session. People that are investing in our business. Members of our apprenticeship program. We're working together. We are building together. Yes, they have that. Opportunity. They have that right. So that's the only free booking they can book for free. Then mentees, we are giving back. I also attend. I was part of a mentorship program and all of that. So those mentees also they also book for free. But everything else, people, friends, partners, and allies. Okay, you are my friend. Okay, because you are my friend, you are not going to pay $197, but you still pay. Do you understand? And then it shows that you value the friendship, and you are going to get much more value than the $47. Do you understand? If you want to monetize your website, you have a website that is not making you money. What can you do to make you money? You can discuss that, and then you book and you pay, and then you still. Do you understand? But you make much more money. So if it is valuable to you, and you also recognize the value of what you are, getting, then you won't have any problem making the payment. But I have been giving all of these things for free, but now I'm giving them for a fee. Do you understand? And the ones that I'm doing for free, I'm capturing value from them in other ways. Do you understand? So these are the things. Once you get this, you will never get it. Like once you see it, once you get, you can't not get it. Do you understand? You can't lose it. That's what I'm saying. Once you get it, nobody can take it away from you. And then you begin to implement. So when you're in a situation, you know exactly what to do, okay, to produce, results in that situation. Now, the problem with many people is what you are offering is not really valuable. You think it is valuable, but it is not. Now, let me explain to you why can we say, build website for 600K, build website for 3.6 million? Because we're not looking for clients. We're not. Now, we only want those that really want to work with us. Now, if clients say that, this money is too much, we're not paying, the same skill that we are using, to work for them, we use those skills to work for ourselves, and we make the money. It's just like you are cooking food. If your food is good and people say they are not buying your food, take it to the place where they will buy it, or you eat the food yourself because the food is valuable. But if what you are doing is not really valuable, then you will want to force people to buy it. But if it is something that can deliver value to yourself, that's why when we are charging, one of the things we charge for is opportunity cost. Because this project that we are working on for you, we could use the time, the energy, the attention we are putting into that project, we could use it for ourselves also. And we will get much more value from it. We are building for ourselves. So if that time, energy, attention you want us to use to build for you, instead of building for ourselves, then you have to pay for it. Do you understand? But if you are not paying for it, no problem. We build for ourselves and we get the reward. Do you get? So you need to be able to eat your own food. If you cannot eat your own food, then what are you selling? Do you get the picture? The idea is very important. Then think long term. Think like a farmer, not like a hunter. Hunter, you have to go. You are running after one deal after the other. But think long term. Think of how you can create a system, a structure that continues to produce for you. Over the long term. Then I did a teaching. You can find it on my YouTube channel. Why you need to focus on the vital few, the law of the vital few. You don't need to have many clients, and you don't need to be doing many things. Like I told you before, focus on productive activities and don't do any busy work. Stop every busy work you are doing. Anything you are doing that's not productive, stop it. And start focusing on the few productive activities. Then also start focusing on the profitable clients, not the problem clients. Now what I find is that in this, like most of the time, the people that value what you have, they don't really need it, but they value it so much and they will pay for it, even though they don't need it. But the people that really need it, they don't value it, and they will not even pay. So, but you know, I want to help them, they need it, I want to help them, I was there, but now I'm not doing it anymore. It's those people that value it, those are the people I'm selling to. Just like even Jesus Christ, the Bible says that, his own people, they did not accept him. But to as many as accepted him, to as many as received him, he gave them power to become the sons of God. His own people, they rejected him, they did not, and then he left. He couldn't do many miracles among them. He was not forcing them that, no, I must do this miracle. He left the place. He went to the places where he could do the miracle. So the people that really need it, they don't value it. But the people that value it, they don't need it. So, but they are ready to pay. So focus on those ones that value it and that are ready to pay, even though they don't. Like, for example, I have a client who is also a mentor, and they want social media management services, and content marketing for their company, and the truth is they don't need it at the level at which they are operating. They don't need it. And then, but because this person is not just a client, this person is my mentor, and because we actually look, for the best interest of our clients, it's not just the money. We told them, see, this thing, you don't need it. We can continue to take your money and do it for you, but you don't need it. If you are going to need it, if you are going to get value from it, you have to do this, put all of these things in place, then you can get value from it. Then we will be happy to work for you and take your money, and all of that will be happy because everybody's getting, and then, so until they put those things in place, we're not going to offer them that service, and we're not going to charge them for it. Do you know, now, because they are ready to pay, they're happy. We should also have been sending our invoice, and they will be paying. Those are the kind of people you want, not the kind of people that will be complaining and demeaning, your service. So they need it. Yes, they have to see that they need it, and they have to want it enough to be willing to pay for it, either with money or with other valuable currencies, in such a way that you are creating value, and then you're also capturing, value in return. Then it's important to have the right support system. I mentioned that before. You need a coach or a mentor, then you need an assistant, and you need a mentee. Now, if you cannot hire an assistant full time, it's not like, it's not fixed. You understand? You adapt these things in the way that works for you. For example, maybe you get a freelancer on Fiverr. Okay, can you do this for me? And you pay the person and they do it. Don't try to do everything yourself. Then finally, you need to integrate spiritual power into your work. It's not by power, not by might, but by my spirit, says the Lord. So you need to integrate spiritual power into your work. Some of the ways of doing that include generosity. You are generous. Like, see all these things that I'm sharing for free. Normally, it's a masterclass that people should pay for. You can be generous in a lot of ways. Look at my website. When you visit my website, you get a book for free. You get, well, of course, there are things you sell, but there are things you also give and do for free. Be generous. That's one of the ways to integrate spiritual power into your life. People will pray for you, and those prayers work. And then God says that he that lends to the poor, he that gives to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay. Then meditation, meditate, think, spend time to process your thoughts, process, the problems you are going through, explore solutions, to those problems, and, implement those solutions. Don't just, do things sporadically. No, think through. Let God give you insight. Let him give you ideas, in a non-disturbed state. Maybe early in the morning when, that's the best time. Some people say late in the night, but honestly, like early in the morning when sleep early enough and then wake up early in the morning when there is no disturbance and all of that. But whatever works for you, you need that time from time to time when you are just meditating, you are thinking, deliberately upon an issue, you are trying to solve, the problem. Then confessions and declarations. All of these things have to rewire your brain, create new neural pathways that make you strong and courageous, that make you able to do the things that you really should be doing. For example, the plenipotent creed that we read at the beginning is an example of that. There's a way to be structured in mind. And if you look at that plenipotent creed, you can read it in less than a minute, or at most less than 2 minutes, very short. So something like that that's very short, you can recite it. I have it on my phone. I play it over and over, and I have several others like that also. I think about them, I meditate on those things. So as you do that, you are integrating spiritual power into your work. Okay, then the principle of delayed gratification. If you don't have money for something, defer it. You don't need to look for look for other ways to meet your needs, and don't try to dumb down the pain. Instead, amplify that pain so that it can be painful enough, for you to do what you need to do about it to resolve it. Okay, so the final passage we're going to read, Isaiah 32, verse 9 to 20. Isaiah 32, verse 9 to 20. I'll read that from the English Standard Version. Okay. Rise up, you women who are at ease. Hear my voice, you complacent daughters. Give ear to my speech. In little more than a year, you will shudder, you complacent women, for the great harvest fails. The fruit harvest will not come. Tremble, you women who are at ease. Shudder, you complacent ones. Strip and make yourselves bare, and tie sackcloth around your waist. Beat your breast for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine, for the soil of my people growing up in thorns and briars. Yes, for all the joyous houses in the exultant city. Now, I won't read the rest. Now, read that passage on your own, Isaiah 32, 9 to 20. But the point is that you can't afford to just stay in the comfort zone. because things are going to get tough, things are going to get difficult, but you need to be ready for it. But when you are ready for it and you push, and then you now get to a point where you are enjoying, where the problems for other people are opportunities for you. You understand? Read that passage and interpret it in the context of what we're saying. Okay, and recommended books that will help you. But even before the book, sign up, and this is for anybody. If you go to the digitalvanguard.uk/deep, the apprenticeship program I showed you, digital entrepreneurship empowerment program, you find different testimonials of people in different stages of development, different stages of career growth. So if you want to make more money and you want to use digital entrepreneurship, as your vehicle, this will help you. So go to digitalvanguard.uk/deep, digitalvanguard.uk/DEEP, okay, and sign up. Then books that will help you also, because you need some foundational mindset readjustment, you need some thinking tools, and these books will help you in those areas. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason, Business Made Simple by Donald Miller, Launch by Jeff Walker, and $100 million Offers by Alex Omoze. So take advantage of those books, read them and implement the insight. I've read all of these books. Some of them I've read several times, and they are really helped. Those offers that I showed you, I applied principles from Alex Omoze's book, to create those offers. Then other resources, yes, it's always important to fill the training feedback form. Go to linkup.click/T-feedback, T for training. linkup.click/T-feedback, together, no space, no hyphen, nothing. So go there. Then you can also download the connection principle. If you are somebody that you've been working a lot and you're not getting value from your work, many times it's not because you're not good enough, it's because you've not found the right kind of people that can appreciate your work. So this book, Connection Principle, will show you how to get those kind of people, and you can get the book for free by downloading it from my website, philipaniola.org. Then you can book a session if you want us to discuss further, get specific strategies for your own situation. Go to digitalvanguard.uk/booking, okay, to book a session. Then you can also get more resources, some of them free, some of them paid. If you go to digitalvanguard.uk/RSVP, then you also find other ways to contact us, okay, on that page. If you go to digitalvanguard.uk/RSVP, you find an option, okay, you find options to contact us if you want to make a booking, but you are not in a position to do that now, but you still need some help. Feel free to use those other options at digitalvanguard.uk/RSVP. And remember the digital entrepreneurship empowerment program that we also spoke about, digitalvanguard.uk/deep. Okay, go and apply there. So the course to think about for this session, the first one is from me, Philip Aniola. Cash cannot substitute for counsel or instruction, and money will never solve a wisdom problem. At best, it will only be a band-aid solution to a much deeper issue. Think about that. Then the second quote is from Pastor Howe. Pastor Tan Seo Howe is the pastor of Art of God Church in Singapore. He says, true wealth is measured by what money cannot buy and what death cannot take away. Think about that. Okay, think about that. And so we'll bring the session to a close here. Okay, so let's just take our closing prayer and then we end. Father, as I come before the throne of grace, let me receive mercy and find grace to neutralize every deficiency and inadequacy in my business and career. By your mercy, I consistently enjoy abundant supply to meet every need, and you directly reward me for my labor. Thank you, Lord, for giving me eyes that see great opportunities and ears that hear the next big thing. By the power of your Spirit, I do all of my work with diligence and excellence, causing me to overflow in the abundance of God's provision hidden on the earth. The Holy Spirit works with me as my senior partner. My career and business have become an expression of my covenant with God, ratified by the blood of Jesus and guided by the Holy Spirit. God has opened his hand of provision unto me, and the work of my hands now serves as his point of contact with me. My business is the channel through which I receive from the abundance of God's love as my Father. I constantly receive the rain of heaven upon the work of my hands. I have a flood tide of God's thoughts, concepts, and ideas, making my work much easier and more productive. In any area where I have missed the mark, conducted my affairs in a way that is not consistent with your wisdom, or acted in ignorance, the Lord shows me and instructs me in the good way, so that his supply will never cease from my life. The Lord guides me to the labors of others. I find the ideas that have already worked on the earth as regards what I am doing today. I received the impartation of the Holy Spirit, granting me wisdom, knowledge, and skill in my field. By this, I shall always be the head and not the tail. My expertise draws attention from higher authorities, leading to true and permanent elevation. I have continued to experience exponential increase in influence and affluence, as it was with Solomon. News of my exploits has gone to the ends of the earth, and the kings of the earth come to learn from my wisdom. God has sent teachers to me. People who know much more than me have come into my life this season, giving me practical knowledge on how to scale and multiply using the same assets I have at the moment. Just as Jethro supplied Moses with wisdom and strategy to simplify his huge assignment, God has opened my understanding to strategic insights, wisdom, and ideas to help me fulfill every facet of my calling without stress. God has brought teachers into my life who showed me how to achieve peak performance in all areas of my life and work without dropping the ball even once. God has sent me skillful associates like Bezalel and Oholiab who are capable of executing their work flawlessly, thereby relieving me of unnecessary burdens. I have faithful allies like Hiram, committed burden bearers like Ruth, mentors like Jesus, mentees like Timothy, and successors like the apostles of Jesus. These relationships have expanded the scope of my work, resulting in global and generational influence and impact. I am blessed with helpers who will be bridges between me and the next place God is taking me to. By these relationships, the things that I see as out of my reach have become the next logical thing. I am continually moving to new and higher levels of success in fulfilling God's plan for my life. Men and angels rise to advance my cause. Just as the sun stood still for Joshua and the Red Sea parted for Israel while swallowing Pharaoh and his host, all factors, forces of creation, government policies, human wickedness, and every other factor work to advance God's plan for my life while putting the enemy to shame. I have more than enough capacity and wisdom to sufficiently discharge all my responsibilities in my family and relationships, business and career, health, ministry, finances, and all areas of life. My counsel is highly sought for and greatly desired by people in authority. By the Spirit of God, I have brought unusual solutions to their problems, and they have given me the right hand of fellowship. I have received grace to respond to the instructions of the Spirit. My labors are not found in the house of a stranger. Thank you very much for joining us today. Remember that all of this will not make sense to you if you don't take action. So it's important to take action and take action immediately. Find something you can do. You can go to digitalvineyard.uk/booking and book a session. You can go to digitalvineyard.uk/RSVP, okay, and send a message. You can go to digitalvineyard.uk/deep, and sign up for the Digital Entrepreneurship Empowerment Program. But whatever you do, take action, like immediately, today, do something. You can create an offer. You can read one of the books recommended, and create an offer, and push the offer out, and all of that. But make sure you do something today, okay, so that you don't start to lose momentum, and then, you go back to square zero, not even square one, as the case may be. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye for now.